Coming up today on Zestology, EMF-free environments, avoiding Wi-Fi, and biohacking wellness.
Hi, I'm Tony. I'm an author, presenter at Sky Sports, and years ago I went to the jungle and got ill. Very ill. So this is my podcast adventure to find more energy. It's packed with biohacking, science, health tech, supplements, and some of the most well-known experts on the planet.
This is something I spent 4 months of my life doing with electrodes glued to my head so that you can do a lifetime worth of meditation.
Decide what you don't give a fuck about, which is something you don't care about.
Some of it gets quite out there.
I had some stem cells sent up to my house that I had stored, and then I injected myself with mannitol.
And we even hack hangovers.
Alcohol is poisonous. So is water and oxygen in the wrong dosage.
So that's my podcast, Zestology. Live life with energy, vitality, and motivation.
Hello again, sitting at my kitchen table today recording this Zestology intro, and what a podcast it was. I recorded this a couple of weeks ago with Gabriel Marques, and I've just been listening back to it before recording this intro and writing it up for Apple Podcasts and Spotify and wherever you listen to your podcasts. And I was fortunate enough to sit down with a true expert, the multi-talented Gabriel Marques. He's a biohacker, he's an EMF consultant, he builds healthy homes, and he also has his own health company selling sauna blankets. He's dedicated his life to understanding the intersection of technology, health, and wellness. And as you'll hear, he's one of those people that I met and I sort of thought, I want to be friends with this bloke. So I hope I don't come across as too keen. He's got his EMF-free sauna blankets. In this podcast, we delve into his personal journey. We detail his battle with heart disease and his subsequent recovery, an experience that led to his profound interest in EMF-free environments and biohacking. And he's just got loads going on. Fascinating bloke, also lives in Portugal, and you'll hear a little bit more about my Portugal plans, if you didn't listen to the last podcast, on this interview with Gabriel. So here he is, Gabriel Marques on Zestology.
We'll get into you and your background in just a sec, but you were just telling me if you were to rent a place now, one of the things you'd really look at is Wi-Fi. What's that all about?
I would look for a house that would be like independent, isolated from other places, because if you are living in a building apartment complex, you would be hit from Wi-Fi from like your neighbors. So even if you fix a lot of stuff inside your apartment, you would still like be hit from other people's Wi-Fi that you cannot control. So I think like if you can control our environment, like the invisible forces, like EMFs and stuff like that, then you would be safer, you know. But also not just EMF. Imagine, for example, that you look for an apartment and it has mold on the neighbor's apartment, and you don't know that, but it can still affect you. So there are so many nuances, and preferably if you're looking for land or a place to live, it would be good to find something isolated, and the far away from cell phone towers, the better, of course.
Yeah. And I was just telling you, I live on a terrace street, which I absolutely love because we all get on really well and we live so close to each other. It is literally a stone's throw to about 3 of my houses over that way, my mate's houses over that way, and the other way. But there, as you say, and I'd never even thought about that, you might not have mold in your house, but your next door neighbor might.
Yeah. I lived in an apartment like that a few years ago. Mine was okay, but the neighbor's house was not so good, and he had like water leaks in his terrace just near mine, and there was some water coming behind my drywall, you know, on the living room, and we were still being affected, and I was constantly like having runny nose and stuff like that, and I didn't know why. And then when we moved out, suddenly after 2 or 3 days, it was gone, you know, and I found that out later because there was like a meeting in the building, like the condominium. I don't know what's the name in English, but so, and they were talking about how to fix that stuff because there was a lot of water leakage that I was not aware of. So it's like the molds in buildings, the EMFs from other neighbors, and then like in the place where I'm right now here in Algarve for vacation, the living room, the bedroom, I was just, the first thing that I do when I go on vacation is like bring like a simple EMF meter and just test the bedroom. And I found out that where your head is on the bed, there is a huge magnetic field. And I was like, how is this even possible?
Yeah.
Well, why is there a magnetic field? What's behind the wall? And I came outside and I saw that there is like the electricity box that gives power to all the houses around, and there was just one behind. I can film you after this, just behind the bedroom, on the outside, and there was a huge magnetic field. So I had to just put the bed on the other part of the bedroom, and it was a lot lower because magnetic fields they don't go wide, far away. So
I think we're going to get on really well because like sometimes you meet someone and you think, oh, I'd quite like to be friends with that person. I felt like that when we met at the Health Optimization Summit a few weeks ago. And I'm the sort of person who does stuff like that when I go to a hotel room. Yeah. I also take electrical tape and put over all the TV lights and the fire alarm lights and all this, so it's not sort of bright like Portsmouth docks in the middle of the night. And as I was telling you, I've not really spoken about this on the podcast, but we're hoping to move to Portugal in the next couple of months, and we're trying to sort of get places to rent and stuff like that where we can't even see them at the moment. It's difficult to get out there. So I've got a friend who's been in Algeciras, which is near where we're going, and he totally gets all this stuff around mold. So he went to look around an apartment for me, and I was like, mate, the one thing I need you to do is to smell and look for mold.
Exactly. Yeah. And I can smell it easy too, because I'm so sensitive to mold, more than EMFs now.
Yeah, me too. Well, I am, but I'm not sensitive enough sometimes to be able to differentiate. Is it that or is it something else? What's going on? Do you know what I mean?
I feel like when I go into a building, I just feel the humidity, on my skin. After a few minutes, I feel like my skin is getting like humid, and the smell, of course, right there. So because I was also into construction, I'm still a bit into construction.
Yeah.
Because
so why don't you explain to people what you actually do? That'd be great. Because obviously you've got more than one business going on, haven't you?
Yeah. So my main business that sustained me for some years now is like I rebuilt homes and then I put them on Airbnb, and I have a few of them in in the place where I live in Serra da Estrela, Ceia. And then because of my health issues and because I recovered amazingly from that, I just wanted to create something and stuff and technologies to help other people also recover their health and heal. I became very passionate because our passions usually come also from our struggles. So there it is. So I have the Airbnb business, and then have like an e-commerce where we develop sauna blankets and other kinds of saunas that are safer and more affordable than usually other ones, especially in terms of EMFs.
Yeah.
And then I also began recently, I did a course from GeoVital Academy about EMF, becoming an EMF specialist consultant. So I have all the cool gadgets, the expensive gadgets to go and sneak into people's homes and just to seek out the invisible forces that are also targeting people's health. Yeah. That's basically the three main things that I do.
Yeah. So on that third point, you go into people's homes and say, here's where you're home. Is it home remediation? Is that what it's called?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Would you call it home remediation or would you call it something else?
Yeah, so it's like EMF mitigation. Yeah. Home, but also for offices. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you look at mold as well?
I don't, but I would love to look into that in the future, of course, because EMF is a big part of it, but there are also chemicals and other stuff that can have an impact in your health. Because my main point doing this EMF stuff in homes is because it's just to have a better environment so that people can get better health and have a stress-free environment. So EMF is a big part of it, and that's the part that I'm most interested in because I'm a bit of a nerd, bit of a geek.
Yeah,
whatever you can call it.
Yeah,
that also came. Of course, I can just explain a bit of the story why I was always like a bit geek. So when I was a kid, my dream was to become a football player, but I could not do it. My doctors never let me because I was born with a complicated heart disease called aortic stenosis. So I was always more tired than other people, and I just could not play sports officially. I could do them well, but doctors would not let me. So because of that, I had a lot of struggles, and the main point was just like all my life I had to struggle with that, and I had to come out with solutions just to heal myself and to get better naturally, Yeah.
So, and you did heal yourself, and a part of that was EMFs, was it?
Yeah. So I was more than now, but I was very electrosensitive.
Yeah.
I had a lot of heart palpitations, probably, of course, from the heart issues that I had, but also because I was spending a lot of my time with technologies. And so I had like heart palpitations, a lot of brain fog, a lot of anxiety, depression. And I was just not aware that EMFs were having such a big impact. And that's why after I found out about this, I read a book, The Rainbow Planet. I think it's The Rainbow Planet or something like that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, boom, now a new rabbit hole,
Yeah. And did you have heart surgery as well?
Yeah, I had 2 open heart surgeries.
2 open heart surgery?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the thing is that was just a part. And after like the last surgery was when I was 18. So 12, 15 years ago. No, 17 years ago. Yeah. And then after that, I had a lot of other issues. I was like bedridden in 2016 for 1 year. Really complicated. I just have the strength to go to the bathroom, but not much. And I was just like Googling and, reading a lot of books and using the low energy that I had to just research. And I did like crazy stuff. I mean, like it's a miracle that I'm still alive. So
really. And then how are you now?
I'm like 95%, there's always something left, but I'm of course a lot better. I can do normal life. I can do business. I have a new child, a newborn now. I have a wife, I have like businesses. I have the energy to do stuff and to think and to, to play, to live life. And that's what we all want, and to be happy, of course.
And I think for people who are into EMFs and sensitized to them, they will sort of be on that page. But for people who aren't, they would think, how can you be linking heart problems and open heart surgery to Wi-Fi or 4G?
I mean, like the surgeries were not because of EMFs. It was because I was born with aortic stenosis.
Yes, exactly.
But of course, there are some studies that now link heart issues to high frequency radiation, to RF. So, and I believe also you have like different kinds of how EMFs consists of. So when you have electrical fields, magnetic and radio frequencies, and the electrical fields specifically, they induce a positive charge in your body when you are near these fields. And these can have an impact on the electrical system of your body, because I believe that, and it's true that we are electrical beings before we are chemical beings. And most of the chemical reactions happen, firstly, because you have electrical reactions first. I think that makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
Your heart is electrical, and if you mess with the electrical system, and you have a positive charge, an excess of positive charge in your body, that can have an impact. And heart arrhythmias is especially can happen because of that,
And of course, it's shocking, really, how much exposure to EMFs has become so normalized in our society, to the extent that it just seems to go up all the time. I mean, the amount of people who sleep with their phone under their pillow or right next to their head on, and that, I'm sure, only increasing. And I'm sure especially young people do that even more. Then, of course, I mean, phone towers, cell phone signal towers everywhere, and you've got no control over whether one is built right next to you or not, have you?
Yeah. You have to look into them. Whenever I go to a like now a rental, an Airbnb, I was just like, I just hope that there is no cell phone tower near, because the what's name, like the wider the more distance you have from a cell phone, the less you are exposed to it. So the close to it, the more exposure you have. And now people, they are like, as you were saying, like sleeping with their phone and charging it at the same time on 4G or 5G or whatever, or Wi-Fi, just close to their heads. I think this is like a one of the biggest epidemic right now, and people are having so many issues, and they are not aware that it's coming from that.
Yeah.
I know from that and from a lot of stuff, of course, but that is the modern new habits that people are not aware that has big toll on their health, because it's also right before they are going into recovery mode, which is sleep. And if your body is on a stressed environment while it's recovering from stress that you had during the day, it's crazy. It's just a feedback loop, and you get not out of it until you are aware of this and you take measures. About the cell phone, it's funny. I made with my friend Miss Biohacker a video on Instagram, a very short video, and it became so viral last week. We had like almost 100k likes, millions and millions of shares and views and whatever. And it was just about that. The two things that people should be aware when they are charging their phone and using their phone on their bed. Because when you are charging it with a normal charger, it's emitting a very high electrical field. Right. And you have a positive charge in your body. Because a cable or charger emits an electric field up to 3 meters. And does so it? 3 meters. You can measure it. It's physics. You can measure it. And then you have also the radio frequencies from the phone itself. But you can still do that. You can still scroll and be addicted at night if you want without the EMFs. It's still possible. You just need to use a power bank, which is DC current, and it doesn't emit an electrical field because it's low voltage and it's not plugged into the AC power outlet. And you can hardwire your phone with an adapter connected to Ethernet and having that cable running through your house to the router and shutting off the Wi-Fi on your router. So there are very specific nuanced things that you can do, and you are still on airplane modes and just scrolling, doing whatever you need to do, and charging it on a power bank. That's all possible, So people don't need to suffer like, oh, but I need the technology. Of course you need it. I need it too. I do it too.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Welleasy, the platform that puts healthy living within your reach. As a member, you get lots of wholesome products at wholesale prices. This is what we need right now. If you are like pretty much everyone I know, sort of watching the pennies at the moment, then you save so much using Welleasy. In fact, the average Welleasy member saves 250 quid a year. We personally get at least one box delivered a week, and it's got everything we need in the house in it, from loo roll to treats. Their mission is to make healthy living accessible and affordable to everyone. I absolutely love Welleasy. I've got to know the guys there. If you want to check it out, then it is welleasy.co.uk. Use the code Zestology10. That is Zestology10 for £10 off your first order. It is just the all-in-one digital shopping experience for healthy stuff. They've got food, drinks, supplements, skincare, home and cleaning. I mean, we started off just getting treats there, and now we get as much as we can there, and you save so much at Welleasy. So go to welleasy.co.uk. If you are the sort of person who likes shopping at Whole Foods or Planet Organic or something like that, then you, I think, will like this, because you're going to save money. Use the code Zestology10 for £10 off your first order. Enjoy.
The one single biggest thing that impacts my sleep is if I leave my phone downstairs on a different floor of the house charging, and it doesn't come to the bedroom, it just improves my sleep. And it's not just in the middle of the night, it's last thing at night, first thing in the morning. You're not filling your brain with information, but you're letting your brain just sort of not just rest, but process, actually, all the information that's come in during the day. We don't have enough of that time during the day anyway. Therefore, it has to sort of take place at some point. So,
it's not just the EMFs, it's also the information that you are saying. Because even if you have your phone on airplane mode, charging on a power bank, you're still putting so much information, and that is giving you stress too, just information. And when we are going to bed, we just want that high melatonin, the low stress, the relaxed feeling.
Yeah. So we were, just before we started recording, we were geeking out about some Portugal stuff. Do you help people, or do you build houses?
I have built houses in the past, and I was selling them, and I still build it, but more for myself because I have the Airbnb business. But I would, if a person is interested in, before purchasing a land or a house, a home, whatever, of course, they can contact me, and I can go there and check everything, because cell phone towers, so I can see exactly where the cell phone towers are, what the levels of exposure, the power lines that are near. A funny story: I have a power line, distribution line behind my backyard. I was thinking, oh, it's far away, it's not impacting me. But when I go outside of my home, about 3 meters after going outside, you have an electrical field that comes up to. And because we are made of water, it's still affecting me when I'm outside. So the solution for it, especially for electrical, but only for electric fields, there is a solution for it. I will put now huge palm trees on the bottom part of my backyard, and they will block the electrical field, because they have water inside. They are on the ground, so they are grounded. And these palm trees will basically block the electrical field coming to my house. So there are solutions even for that,
No way.
Yeah.
That's great.
It is. And trees are amazing also for radio frequency. They are like a shield. They reflect, they absorb and they reflect too.
Wow. That's great. And that's the sort of thing that is your job is so specialized, you're not going to get replaced by AI. So that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you put like something in a Google map, you point the pointer and you ask how much EMF is there from what source, and they will. But of course, these guys will never tell you.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but it's I really love that job. It's like Mr. Gadget inspection, like coming in. Because it's important, purchasing a house or purchasing a land is one of the most important decisions that you do in life. And the environment can be good or bad for you. So it's very important.
Yeah, it is. And what we've been doing here is we've been trying to figure out some stuff around EMFs and mold in this house. And we love this house. It's the sort of dream house. We were so excited to get it. But I've just sort of wondered whether there's some sort of mold issues here. So we've got a damp meter on the wall, and this is probably all really basic compared to what you use. We've got an EMF meter. We've got one of those damp meters which is just sort of goes on the wall like that. We've got one of the Amazon air purity measurers, which is quite good. It measures VOCs and it measures particulates in the air, and it measures CO2 and that sort of thing, and humidity and air quality. But it's all still fairly non-specific in terms of the information that it gives me. So what is more extensive about what you do?
You mean just about the EMFs?
EMFs, anything that you measure, really. Yeah.
Yeah, because what I know to measure is EMFs. I'm not used to measure mold. I'm just like very aware of it, But in terms of EMFs, I look right to if there's a power line, distribution line near the house. If there are homes near to it, and if they have Wi-Fi routers, if there are magnetic fields coming from the metal pipelines from neighbors, which can happen too, even if they are underground. I look for the cell phone towers if they are near, what the exposure is. If the home is already built, what are these frequencies and fields to, the intensity of the fields, and what can you do with what is already there? So you can, even if you have a huge, a lot of radio frequencies coming inside your home, you still can do specific measures, like shielding your bedroom, and grounding the shielding paint, which can also remove the electrical fields. And if people are building a new home, the number one tip is what kind of materials. I would still build concrete, not wood.
Right. Why is that?
Because concrete is made of minerals, so cement, and minerals are conductive. And usually they have like a foundation, the homes, and they are grounded. So if you have cables running inside of concrete or brick walls, these electrical fields that come out of these cables, they are grounded. So these electrical fields don't come out in full force into your bedroom and living rooms. So there is one huge thing. I would still do it with normal, conventional building materials, especially the structure, and not use wood. And even for the floor, if you have lightning on the bottom floor and you live on the first floor, you are sleeping on the first floor, and you have like the living room just below the bedroom.
Yeah.
If you have the lights, on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And if you have a wooden layer that's separating the floors, these electrical fields just come up to your bed. If you have a concrete floor, it would remove about 95% of those electric fields.
Right.
So these are such simple but huge tips.
And then, so you've gone away on holiday this week. You're on the Algarve. You're in a lovely place, Val de Lobo, and you turn up and you check the bed, and there's a huge amount of EMF. So what did you do? Turn the whole. What was your wife doing while you were ransacking the room? Was she rolling her eyes?
No, she was not. She was not, because she hears it from me almost every day now. She's like used to it. You know? it's like cooking for us, and we just have to every day. Like, I'm just telling her, please use the Ethernet cable instead of Wi-Fi. You know, because we have Wi-Fi in our home, but I can turn it off and on anytime, and it shuts down at midnight every day automatically.
Yeah.
So we can use Wi-Fi, but I really try to insist on this, because even my wife, she feels it when we are like, I have, of course, in my home, I have most of these things implemented. You have amazing things like a simple automatic breaker cutoff switch. You know what that is? You heard of it?
Yeah.
And I have a few of those for my bedroom. And when we have it on manual and it's always on, and when we sleep and we forget to program it, then she doesn't sleep so well, and me neither.
No way.
You know?
No way.
Yeah, we feel it. And I can ask her without knowing if it was on or off. I asked her, she didn't knew if it was on or off, and I didn't sleep so well. And I was checking, there it is. So it's not just a placebo, you know. And also, if you are sleeping grounded or not, but with grounding, you have to be careful how you ground your bed.
Yeah.
There are specific things that you have to check. And the best way is always, people think like, if I use a grounding sheet, I avoid EMFs because I'm grounded. It's not as simple as that, because if you have high electric fields and you are sleeping grounded, you are just serving as an intermediate for that electric field to go to ground.
Right.
So it's still running through you.
Okay.
But when you check on the multimeter, you have 0 body voltage. Yeah, of course. But you are serving as the middleman between the electric field and the ground. So the best way is really to remove what's there, that invisible force, and to ground yourself to get, the electrons, and to be grounded, literally to be grounded, you know. And so if you remove the electric fields and most of the radio frequencies from your bedroom, and if you ground yourself, you will see so amazing things in your sleep. It's like, I know people that were like, I don't sleep for 30 years. I did this just one time. I just put all the breakers of my house, except for the fridge and the freezer, you know?
Yeah.
And I put the grounding sheet, and it's like, boof.
So hang on. I thought you were saying that grounding sheet doesn't necessarily work.
They work. They always work, you know? If it's connected to good grounding outlet, or if you put a stake on the ground outside, which is the best option. Yeah. But if you have electric fields coming from the simple charger of your phone, or the chandelier, the light here next to your bed, if they are plugged in and they have voltage inside, they are emitting electric fields. So that's hitting your body. But if you are grounded at the same time, you're just serving as the middleman for that electrical field go through you and then to ground.
Right.
So it's still charging your body, but you are not seeing it on the multimeter.
So you need a grounding sheet, but you also need to make sure that the switches are off and the electricity is not swirling around.
Exactly. The switch are off, or other things like shielding plate that's grounded.
Yeah.
Or, there's few things that you can do. Yeah. It becomes a bit complicated. I'm actually like just working on launching my EMF course, because I had so many struggles to find out the best simple and practical solution-based courses, and it was difficult to get them. So I had to take a huge course, and I'm going next week also to Austria to do another part of that course.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, someone has to invent like to do this course, and I'm just working on it, and I'm doing like a pre-launch soon, and in August it will be on, and it's very practical, video based, and just showing off the best tools that you can purchase. It's like simple tools without spending a lot of money, just to do the best you can inside your home without having to have someone like me or a pro and spending a lot of money, and just like to reduce and to mitigate the best you can,
Yeah. And then obviously you've created the sauna blankets, which are amazing. And when we met, you were showing me there's just 0 EMFs on those blankets. And you did it out of self-interest first, because you were so interested in it and you wanted it for yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, I purchased one from another company, and I found out that they had very high electrical fields. And I was like, oh, and their marketing was like, oh, low EMF, low this, low that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, so you're not very specific. And then I found out all companies basically do that.
Wow.
Most of them do that in their marketing. And neither one of those, they showed like that specific thing, that the electrical field. And I was like, okay, is there a solution for this? And I was like, okay, there is a solution. But how can I convince any manufacturer to do this and find the right materials? So I just spent like 4 to 6 months just brainstorming on these and trying sheets and stuff inside cables. And then I found a manufacturer that agreed on my idea. And after like 3 or 4 months, we found the first prototype. Like, I mean, after 5 prototypes. So on the 5th prototype, it was done.
Yeah.
And I have still ideas to upgrade and to improve some things, not EMF, because the EMF part is taken care of now, but other things too.
Yeah, great. It's a brilliant business idea.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna record some of these in person once we're out in Portugal, so I'll look forward to that a lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, the questions that I ask everyone on this podcast are: what is one book that you would recommend, and one tip for living with more energy and vitality? And you were obviously a man who goes deep down rabbit holes, so I'm very interested in both.
Wow, one book. Oh, that's so difficult. I knew that you would ask this question, but let's brainstorm on it.
Yeah.
Oh man, one book. It's very hard, But there is one that changed my life, but it would not be so good for now. So I don't want to tell you that. But maybe the Rainbow Planet. Yeah, I think it's the Rainbow Planet.
Yeah. The Rainbow Planet. We'll look at that. But what was the book that changed your life, but wouldn't be so good for now?
Yeah. There is a detoxification guy, very well known in the natural healing space. His information actually saved my life at that specific time.
Yeah.
But after a while, it was not so good for me.
Right.
So because it's like a fruit-based detoxification.
Yeah.
Because I when I was very, very sick, I did a lot of fasting on fruit juices and stuff like that. And that was like a big game changer. But after a few years on being on a vegan diet, a plant-based diet, I became very, very sick again, especially my brain was just not working. And then I began eating meat and eggs and fish again. And then my health was again like jumping a lot. Yeah. So I feel like really a lot better from that. But at that time, his book, which is the Detox Miracle source book, the Detox Miracle source book. Yeah, that book saved my life at that time. Yeah. Wow. But I think I would not recommend it. It really depends on the situation of the person, because I could not digest meat at that time. So it was good for that circumstance. But that book saved my life, yeah.
And then we've talked a lot about energy today, but what is one tip for living with more energy from you?
I mean, like getting better sleep. And for that, you have to take care of your environment. And your environment can be impacted by mold and EMF specifically. So if you have a stress-free bedroom where you can sleep well, and you'll remove the cell phone from your bedroom, then you will get better sleep and you will have more energy.
Amazing. Gabriel, great to talk to you. Where can people find out more about everything you're doing? And of course, the sauna blankets as well.
Yeah, so my website where I sell this amazing stuff is prasanahealth.com. So Prasanna health.com. My Instagram is Gabriel Bliss. So Gabriel BLISS. Yeah, and that's it. And people can contact me, reach out, and just message me. I'm like a very grounded person. I get back to everyone.
Amazing. When you get really big, that's going to be a struggle. But for now,
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
All right. Look, great to talk to you. I might even see you in Portugal later this week.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much, Tony, for inviting me.
Thank you for listening to Zestology. Thank you to Gabriel. Hopefully some in-person podcasts with Gabriel in Portugal at some point very soon. And a quick reminder that my deal of the week and my podcast partners are Welleasy. I am so pleased my podcast is partnering with Welleasy, the awesome online store that puts healthy living within your reach. As I said, I'm in my kitchen at the moment and I can, from where I'm sitting, see products that we've just had delivered on Welleasy, not least Exhale Coffee. The great thing is, if you're into Exhale Coffee, you know it's better quality, you know it's a bit more expensive, but you get 20% off with Welleasy. There's a lot of good stuff on there. Do check out the Nomato sauce and the unrefined bars, which we're totally addicted to, and you can save loads of money. On average, people save £250 per year, and I reckon we save quite a lot more than that. You can use the code Zestology10 for £10 off your first order. Minimum spend applies, and you are welcome. Go to welleasy.co.uk and use the code Zestology10. That's it for this week's podcast. Before I go, would you like to know who's coming up over the next couple of weeks? Of course you would. On the next few episodes of Zestology podcast, we'll be speaking to Rudy Nassif from Viva Rays about the light diet and about biohacking your eyes. And I'll be speaking to Don Gordon about the fasting mimicking diet and how you could use Prolon to help with a reset and a detox. Brace yourself, because it's not for the faint-hearted, but it's easier than a water fast. That's coming up soon on Zestology. Have a great week.